Hi guys, uh, today we'll be seeing about local variables. Okay, so I hope you are able to see the screen here. So let me write something here. Let me write here int a equals to 5. I have written int a equals to 5. Now, can I write like the system dot out dot println? Can I write println print a? Can I write print a? Yes. Why? Because a is there within this block. Okay, you have to see where your a is declared. Okay, your a is declared within the block of a main method. That is why it is accessible throughout that block. I know some of you might be confused, right? That's why I will have to give an example of a problem here. So what I'll do is I will write one block like this. Now the question is, can you write a block like this? Yes, yesterday I have shown you, right? This is called as a normal block. I'll inside this block I will write here like this. Int b is equals to 10. I have written int b equals to 10. Now I would like to print the value of b. So I'll tell b here like this. Okay. So now the question is, will I be able to print this b? Now what you are thinking, you might be thinking like this. Yeah, definitely it will print b. Why? Because b is declared inside the main method. So inside the main method, whatever you declare, it is accessible throughout the main method, but that is not the case. Why? Because whenever you declare a variable, okay, first thing what you have to do is, okay, I will tell like this, okay. Whenever you declare a variable, you have to see that variable is inside which block. You have to search for the nearest opening block and you have to search for the nearest closing block. Okay, so that is what you have to do. So this is that nearest opening block, okay, and this is that nearest closing block, right? So, okay, which means that b is declared, okay, it is declared inside this block, which b is available only inside that block. Outside the block the b is not available. Okay, I want you to understand that. Why it is like that? Why? Because where it is declared, that is what you have to see. B is declared inside that block, so it is accessible only inside that block, not outside the block. So how can you print b outside the block? So if I compile and execute, watch here, it will tell cannot find symbol. See, it is telling error, right? Cannot find symbol. Yes, but that will not happen if I cut b from here, and if I tell here int b is equals to, yeah, I'll declare int b in the main method, but I'll initialize below. So initialization is not a problem at all. You can initialize anywhere you want, but the question is where have you declared? Okay, now you have declared b, right? You have declared b. What you have to do is, as soon as you declare a variable, you have to search for the, from the top, you have to go to the top and search for first opening bracket. Yes, this is the first opening bracket, and you have to search for the first closing bracket. So this is the opening bracket, and the closing bracket of main method is this. So that b is accessible throughout this main method, which means, can I print b? Yes, you have declared b here and you are printing b here, so it is no problem, right? So I hope you have understood what we can do. This is called as a local variable. Okay, scope, you have to know what is the scope of a variable. Answer is 10. I hope you have taken the screenshot. Okay, so that is how your local variables are. Now I would like to tell something that is like this. If I write a for loop, okay, if I write a for loop and if I tell int I should start from 0, I is less than 3, I plus plus, if I write something like this, and I try to print the value of I, okay, now what is the output, right? What is the output? Now you might be thinking, because yesterday I have done this, right? A answer is 3. It's very simple, you are thinking. But watch here, okay, what I do is, if I compile, it will tell error, cannot find symbol. Why it will tell error? You have to understand as a programmer. Why? Because your I, okay, your I is not accessible to the main method. Why it is not accessible? Because you have to see where your I is declared. Don't you think your I is declared inside the for loop? If your I is declared inside the for loop, it is accessible only inside the for loop, not outside the for loop. Okay, if your I is declared inside the for loop, it is available only inside the for loop. So how can you print outside the for loop here? That's the only thing you have to understand. Okay, but the same problem I will not get if I declare this I outside the for loop. Okay, so what have I done? That is called as declaration. I have declared outside the for loop That is why I is accessible now outside the for loop. I'll compile here. Let's see. I'll compile and execute. Yes. And when I execute, see, we got the answer. There is no compilation error here because I is accessible. Why I is accessible? Because of the scope. You have to understand that. So that is what I wanted to tell. Okay. Now what I would like to do is see, before going to star patterns, you have to understand one theory, that what is the difference between print system.out.print and system.out.println. Okay. Let's see. I'll be writing the three print statement. Okay, like this. Print A, then print B, okay, and print C. This is what I would like to tell now. Then I'll change them to println and see how this is going on. Okay. So yes, so let me keep it here. Okay. Okay. So when you execute this first line, okay, when you execute first line, what will happen is, imagine that this is your screen. Okay, this is your screen now. In your screen, initially what will be happening is, your cursor will be there in the top left corner. Your cursor will be there where? In the top left corner, like how your notebook will be, right? When you're writing in a notes, are you starting from the right side? No, right? You are starting from the top left side. So this is that left corner. There your cursor will be, it will be blinking there, it will be waiting for you, to output something. You are telling print A. Yes, as soon as you tell print A, what will happen? Okay, as soon as you tell print A is printed, but the question is where it is printed. The A will be printed where the current cursor is. Now don't think the current cursor is here, that is why A will get printed there. A will get printed. After printing A, the question is, where will the cursor go? Will the cursor stay there only? No. The cursor will immediately go to the right. Okay. The cursor will immediately shift to the right as soon as you print something. Okay. The cursor has gone front. Then you are printing the second line here, print B. You are telling print B. So what will happen is, now B gets printed. Where the B gets printed, the B gets printed wherever the current cursor is. Always remember, whenever you print something, wherever the current cursor is, that printing will happen. So current cursor is here, so you are printing B, so B is also printed. As soon as you print this B, immediately cursor will move to the right. Now you are telling print C. What will happen? C is printed where? Where the current cursor is, C is printed here. After printing C, cursor will move to the right. Is there any other thing to print? No. That is why by default, you know that as soon as you print something, press any key to continue will be there. So press any key to continue will be coming in the same line. So if you tell print, all of them will be printing in the same line. I hope you have understood what's the output here. The output is A, B, C, then press any key to continue. Okay, so let's execute and see it. I have compiled, and if I execute, see, I hope you have understood, right? It is A, B, C, then press any key to continue. This is how your print statement works. Let's see how your println works. Okay, println. I'll tell println here. Okay, now let's come here and so when I tell println, right? So initially what will be there? This is our screen, okay, and initially cursor will be there in the top left corner. You told println A. So println means you are telling print A. So print A means what will happen now? Print A means A will get printed, but the question is where it will get printed. It will get printed wherever the cursor is. So A gets printed here. As soon as you print A, okay, in the print statement cursor was here. But this is a println, so cursor will be in the next line. Okay, in println, as soon as it prints, it will come to the next line. So there is a println B. Println B means first print B, then go to the ln. Okay, print B, then go to the ln. You can see the name, right? So first it is print. So print B, then go to the ln. Okay, So like that it is. So now I'm printing B. Where will B will be getting printed? Wherever the cursor is. So B will get printed here. Then cursor will not move right. In the print statement, cursor used to move right, but now the cursor comes below. Cursor comes below. Now you have print ln C. What will this print ln C do? Print ln C means first print C, then ln means take the cursor to the new line. Your cursor will come here. Now is there anything else to print? No, there is nothing else to print. That is why press any key, key to continue. It will come here. Press any key to continue. So this will be our output. Let's see. Let's see. So we have got the output, A, B, C, then press any key to continue. I hope you have understood this, right? Okay. So now the question is, some of you might be thinking, after printing, A, B, C, okay, what I will be wanting is, I want to print, after printing A, B, C, I want to print D here. Okay, I want to print D here. Sir, how can I print D here? Sir, what should I do? Now, don't you think if you have to print D there, first your cursor has to move up. Cursor is below now. Cursor is here because as soon as you print something, cursor will come here, right? So, from cursor from here, it has to go to the top so that you can print D there. Now, what is the method, sir, to bring this cursor from here to here? What is that method you are thinking? Okay, I'll tell you. See, system.out.println. Don't you think system.out.println will bring the cursor down? Yes. So to bring the cursor up, system.out.print ln you should not tell. You have to tell nl. Okay, you should not tell. Okay, you should not tell ln. Ln will bring that down. Nl will bring it up. And if I tell like this, you will definitely laugh, right? Yes, because print nl is not there, right? It is not there. Which means you can't take your cursor back up. This is the point which I wanted to tell you. Okay, if your cursor comes down, that's it. You can't bring your cursor back up again. Okay, you can't bring your cursor back up again. So you will be thinking, sir, then what to do, sir? Okay, I want to print D there, then what to do? What to do means you should have thought before only. You should have thought clearly, right? In the beginning only you should have thought. At the end you can't do anything. That's why be very careful. Once you print something, that's it. Okay? That is why. So now you have understood. Okay, my expected output is something here. Okay, which means if my screen is like this, if your expected output is A, B, C, and D, okay, you should have to think. What you have to think? That after printing A, do you want your cursor to move down or right? Right. That is why for printing A, you have to tell print A only. You have to tell print A. Why? Because now what will happen is, as soon as you print A, the cursor will move to the right. When the cursor is moved to the right, you want to print D. After printing D, you want the cursor come to new line. So you have to tell print ln D. You have to tell print ln D. What will happen now? Print ln D means print D. Then take the cursor to the new line like this. Then you're telling print B. Print B, take the cursor to the new line. So you will get output like this. So what you have to do is you should think before only. Okay, because once you print down, once the cursor comes down, it can never go back up. This is the most important thing in star patterns, number patterns. Okay, see, we got this output. Okay? It is very important that you understand this, or else, okay, your logic will be wrong. See, whenever you are deriving the logic in your mind when you are solving star patterns, if you don't know this, you will go wrong here. Okay. Why? Because when I give the question, like this, okay, watch here. Normally, I think you will also think the same thing. If I tell you, that print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like this. You will tell, sir, it's very easy. I'll print 1, 2, 3. Okay, then I'll print 4, 5. Then I'll print 6, 7. Then I'll print 8. Then I'll print 9. Yes, to tell it is easy, but if you think in the same way where the numbers are there, you can't do it. Why? Because yes, cursor can go right, no problem. Cursor can come down, no problem. But cursor can't go left. Cursor can't go up. Okay, once the cursor comes down, okay, it can't go up. So the logic what you thought is wrong. Okay, so if your logic is wrong, your code will be definitely wrong. Yes, so if your code has to be correct, your logic has to be correct. If your logic has to be correct, you should be knowing how the control flow is happening here. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is not possible and what is possible here. Okay. So now once I tell this, now let's see. Okay, I have, okay, what I have now is I have this screen. Okay, I have this screen here, and what I want to print is I want to print 3 stars here like this. I want to print 3 stars. So which means I want to print a star. Okay, then I want the cursor to be in the same line, right? I want to print one more star. Okay, so watch here what will happen. Okay. So yeah, imagine this is my actual out. This is my current output. Okay, this is my current output screen. I want 3 stars in a same line. So what I'll tell, initially the cursor will be in the top left corner, right? So I'll tell system.out.print, not println, it is print star. I will tell this. What will happen? Star will get printed where the current cursor is. Current cursor is here, so star gets printed. As soon as I print a star, what will happen? Cursor will move to the right. Yes, cursor moves to the right. Again I will tell a system.out.print, print what? Print star. I will tell. Okay, so what will happen? Where the current cursor is, star will get printed. Okay, star will get printed. Then cursor will move to the right. Cursor will move to the right. Again, what I want to print? I want to print one more star. So system.out.print. I will tell what? Print star. This is what I will tell. Now, as soon as I tell this, star will get printed here, and cursor will move to the right here. Cursor moves to the right. Yes, my task is done. I printed 3 stars in the same line. Yes. Okay. So the question is, yes sir, this is simple, we have understood. Why you are telling us this? Why? Because imagine now I have told you a print 3 star. What if someone has told you print 100 star? Will you copy and paste 100 times? Difficult, right? It is difficult. In such cases, loops will be helpful to us. So using loops, how do I achieve this output? Okay, you have to understand, whenever a code is repeating, don't you think here the same code is repeating again and again? Yes, whenever a code is repeating, you can put that within a loop. So what you have to do is, I'll be writing a for loop here. I'll be writing a for loop. Okay, inside the for loop, okay, I'll write here for loop like this. So inside the for loop, what do you have to write? Okay, condition incrementation we will see later. Inside the for loop, what do you have to write? Inside the for loop, you have to write that code which is repeating. Here, which is repeating? This code, this is repeating each and every time, right? So that's why whatever repeating, I'll put it here. So it is system.out.print, what I'll tell? Star. Now this printing of star, how many times I have to do is the question. Now don't think it is 3 times. And I told you yesterday, whenever you want to print it 3 times, I should start from 0, less than 3 you have to tell. Okay, I have told this in yesterday's class, where int I should start from 0, or let's say j, any variable is fine, I or j, okay, any variable is fine. J should start from 0. If I tell j is less than 3 and j plus plus, this is the code, this is the for loop which will execute for how many times? 3 times. Because j equal to 0, j equal to 1, j equal to 2. Yes, there are 3 values which will satisfy this condition, so it will execute 3 times. If you don't know this, please watch yesterday's video. Okay. So if I write this program, sir, will I get this 3 stars as the output? Yes, definitely. Okay, so watch here, I'll be doing it. So I'll tell here for loop where int j should start from 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus, and here I'll tell system dot out dot print, not print ln. I would like to print here print star. So as you can see, I have printed 3 stars in the same line. I have printed 3 stars in the same line. So now you have understood. Okay, to print 3 stars in the same line, we have to write this for loop. So take this screenshot. Pause the screen and take this screenshot. So I hope you have taken the screenshot. Okay. So now you understood that if I want to print 3 stars in the same line, then what is the code which I have to write? Is this is that code. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now I would like to write this code in the top corner. Okay, so that it will be more clear. Yes. So if I write like this, that is for loop. Yes. For loop int int j should start from 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus I have written there. Inside this, what was that? System.out.print star. Yes, so this is that code which was responsible to print 3 stars like this. Now what you want to do is, you are not happy now. You want not 3 stars not only there, but 3 stars here also. Okay, not only there, and 3 stars here also. So what you want to do is, you want to print 3 cross 3 stars. You want to print 3 cross 3 stars. So which means I will undo this so that you will understand. So which means, don't you think you want to print star here? Yes, if you want to print star here, don't you think first cursor has to come here? But if the cursor has to come here, don't you think cursor has to travel from this line to a new line? Cursor has to come to new line. And how will you bring the cursor to a new line? By writing a code called as system.out.println. Okay, blank you have to tell, println. This is all you have to tell. As soon as you tell println, what will happen is cursor from here, right side, will come and blink here like this. Now what do you want to print? Now you want to print not 1 star but 3 stars simultaneously, and you already know, right, that this is the code which will print for how many times? 3 times. That is why you will copy that and you will paste this, you will copy and paste. So let me write in a different color here. Yes, so you will write here like this, for loop, int j should, yes, I can write the same variable. Why? Because j is declared here, which means this j is available only for the red color here, okay, and this j is available for the blue color here, okay, is for the blue color for loop, because it's a local variable. Okay, fine. Int j equals to 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus. You can write like this, no problem. What I want to do, I want to print 3 stars. So system.out.print, not println, print star I will tell. What this code will do? This code will print 1 star, 2nd star, 3rd star, and cursor will be still on the right side. Cursor will be there. Now what do you want to do? You want to bring the cursor from there to here, because you want to print the next 3 stars. So to bring the cursor down, you have to tell system.out.println. Okay, you have to tell println and you have to write this code. So what will happen is, if you tell println, cursor will be removed from there and cursor will come and sit here. Now what do you want to do, right? So now you want again 3 stars here, you want again 3 stars, right? So if you want 3 stars, there is already a code. The code is like this: for loop int j should start from 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus. Okay, this is for the blue color here, brown color. So here you will tell system.out.print what? Print star you will tell. Then what will happen is, since you written a for loop, 3 stars will be printed in the same line, then cursor will be on the right here, cursor will be on the right. Now what you want to do, just for the name's sake, you want to bring this cursor from here to here. So how to do that? System.out.println. Okay, now you notice one thing here. Okay, what you have to notice is, watch here, there is a code which is repeating for 3 times. Okay, don't you think this code is the same code everywhere? See, I have highlighted this code, whatever you have seen. Okay, don't you think I have copied this and I have pasted here also? Yes. Now don't you think I have copied that and pasted here also? Yes. So we are seeing that the same code, okay, the same code is copied and pasted, right? It is copied and pasted everywhere. So the same code, whatever I have put it in the block, this is copied and pasted here, and this is copied and pasted here. So you as a programmer now should think, right? Yes, if I wanted 3 rows, I have written 3 for loop like this. What if I wanted 10 rows? If I want 10 rows, I have to copy and paste it 10 times, right? So that is what you are thinking. So let's see here. Let me go to the code. Yes, as you can see, right, So one is, after this we know that what we have to tell, we have to tell system dot out dot println, I have to tell println. So if I copy this, okay, if I copy this and if I paste it, so I have 3 star new line, 3 star new line. Watch here. So I hope you are seeing, 3 stars new line, 3 stars new line. Yes. So what we wanted to do was, we wanted to do like this, right? 3 stars new line, 3 stars new line, and 3 stars new line again. Let's see. Yes, I'll compile, and if I execute, right? See, I got the answer. But what I have done is, I have copied and pasted. What if the person tells, I want 3 stars, not 3 rows, but 5 rows? Okay, if he wants 5 rows, what we have to do is, we have to again paste it and again paste it. Okay, so 5 times I have pasted. So this kind of code is not recommended as a programmer. Let's see the output, whether we will get output or not. We have got the output, right? We have 3 columns and 5 rows here. Okay. So what do you have to do in this kind of scenario? That's the same thing which I told you. You have to recognize which is that code which is repeating. Okay, you have to recognize that. Now if I start to notice, I clearly recognized, hey, this is that code, which is repeating everywhere. This is that code which is repeating everywhere. Now whatever code is repeating, okay, first what you have to do, you have to write a for loop. You have to write a for loop. Don't write the conditions now. Okay, we leave it blank. There is a body of the for loop, right? There is a body of the for loop. You have to write, what you have to write inside the for loop? You have to write that code which is always repeating. Now don't you think there is a J loop which is always repeating? Yes, I'll be copying this, okay. What I'll tell is, I'll change the color. I'll tell, this is the code, that is for loop, int j should start from 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus, okay. And inside this system.out.print star, and after this it is system.out.println. Okay, so this is that code which is always repeating, right? So let me change the color here. Yes, so I'll close this, like this. Now you have to understand, what do you have to write inside this for loop? What you have to write inside the for loop is that code which is always repeating. As you can notice, what is always repeating? This, J loop println is always repeating. J loop println is always repeating. That's why I have written J loop and println inside the body of one more for loop, because that also I want to repeat again. Now I have to write the condition here. Okay, I have to write the condition. So what condition I will be writing is like this, int, since J is already used here, I will use I, int I equals to 0. Okay, I is less than 3, because 3 times I want to execute I plus plus. So if I write a code like this, what will happen? What will happen is, this for loop, okay, this for loop will execute for 3 times, which means you are copying and pasting how many times? 3 times. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So whenever you see some code as repetitive, what do you have to do? What you have to do is, you have to put that code, okay, you have to put that code within one more block, like this. You have to put that code within one more block. So I have put the code within one more block. Can you see a block here? Yes. Now the name of this block is for loop, right? So for loop I have to tell where int I should start from 0, okay, I should be less than, I'll tell 3, okay, I plus plus. Now some of you may be thinking, sir, why have I not told J? You can tell J also. Why have I not told J here? Because once you declare J, you have already told J is a variable which is of the type int. The question is again, why you are telling J is of the type int? 2-time declaration we are doing. 2-time declaration we can't do. Okay, 2-time declaration we can't do. So that's why if I compile, it will tell variable already initialized. Okay. Yes, variable J is already defined in the main method. So that's the problem here. That's why here I have to tell int I, different variable I have to give. Okay, int I equal to 0. Now you are thinking, sir, if J we can't initialize the 2 times, 3 times, then how we are initializing here 5 times? Here also I am telling int J, here also I am telling int J. Yes, understand one thing, for the last time I will tell you, you are told int J, right? But before coming to this control, that j is already died. Okay, it has already died. Why? Because where j is declared inside that for loop. So only that for loop knows what is j. Other for loop doesn't know that there is a j. Okay, so that is the case here. It's a local variable. Okay, I hope you have understood here. Okay, so if I write this code, okay, int I equal to 0, I is less than 3i plus plus. So this code is repeated for 3 more times. So 3 stars new line, 3 stars new line, 3 stars new line, 3 more times it will repeat like this. See, I hope you have understood this scenario, right? I hope you have understood here. Okay. So this is how to print 3 stars new line. Okay. I hope none of you have any doubt here. Okay. So let me minimize this. Okay. So I will be clearing this. I will be clearing and end the show. So we'll look at the code, once we look at the code and we'll try to change some values. Now don't you think, okay, what this for loop will do? This for loop printed 3 stars in the same line, right? This for loop, what did it do? It printed 3 stars in the same line. What if in the same line you don't want 3 stars, you want 5 stars? In the same line, if you want to talk, you have to talk with j. If you want to talk about the next line, you have to talk with I. So now I want total 5 stars in the same line. Same line means, okay, it is a column. Okay, you want extra column, right? So previously there were 3 columns and you want now 2 more columns. So totally how many columns you want? You want 5 columns. Columns means the variable is j. So you have to tell j is less than 5. When you tell j is less than 5, it will print 5 columns. Okay. So if I compile and execute, watch here. It will print 5 columns. How many rows? 3 rows. How many columns? 5 columns you have printed. So you have to understand, right? This is very important. Column means j. Row means I. So I will tell here I is less than 2. I is less than 2, which means I am telling 2 rows, 5 columns. Okay. Print a star pattern with 2 rows, 5 columns. Right? It's simple. 2 rows, 5 columns. So you have learned star pattern now. Basics, at least basics like this. 2 rows, 5 columns. How about they tell I want 6 rows, 2 columns. 6 row means which variable? I. So I will comment here row is I variable, and column, if you want column, it is j variable. Okay, so now the question is 6 column, okay, 6 rows, so I is less than 6 rows. How many columns? 2 columns. Column is j, so this is what you have to tell. So 6 rows, 2 columns will happen. Let's see. See, 6 rows, 2 columns. Done. So what you have to understand is this thing, that is row means I, column means j. Please take the screenshot. Take the screenshot. Okay. So generally what normally you will get question is not 6 to 2 and all. It is n cross n. That is, if 5 rows, then 5 columns. If it is 10 rows, then 10 columns. If it is 3 rows, then 3 columns. So you will be getting that 3 and 3. That is what you will be getting. It will be a constant number, right? So 3 and 3 like this. But what I will do now is I will tell here a int n is equals to 3. Okay, I have created a variable and I stored the 3 value in n. Why? Because every time instead of telling 3, I will be telling n. So this is what I will tell. So what's n value? N value is 3. That's why I will get that output. Okay. So this is much easier. Why? Because now the n value is 3. I got 3 cross 3. If I change my n value to n value to 5, see, I had to change only in one place. When I changed in one place, in other places it got reflected, right? It got affected in other places also. This is what you have to do in programming. You should not write everywhere. You should not update everywhere. Update has to be done very minimal. Right? See, you got 5 cross 5. Imagine that you had not written this int n value. Okay, if you had not written the n to that n value from 3 cross 3, if you wanted to change to 5 cross 5, you have to change here also, you have to change here also, like this. You have to change 2 places. Imagine that there were hundreds of for loops. You have to change in each and every case. That is why do you want to change each and everywhere? You just tell n here and change that n value only in one place. So I'll tell int n is equals to 5 here. As of now, let's say 3. So this is that for loop which you have to write. Please take the screenshot. So what is the important key point to understand here, right? I'll tell you, the thing which you should never forget is like this. That is, inside the J loop there is only one print statement, right? So that print statement is not print ln, it is print. Inside the J loop it is print. Outside the J loop it is print ln. This is what you have to understand. Inside the J loop it is print, outside the J loop it is print ln. And this print ln, it doesn't have a double quotes like this. It doesn't have. You can give no problem, but don't write. It doesn't have a double quote. Inside a print it has a double quote, but outside this J loop, it doesn't have a double quote. As it is simple, plain print ln. Okay. Now let's try to write it. So you can only understand this if you practice. Okay, if you practice. So there was a code. First, what you have to write, int n is equals to 5. I'll write. This is how to write each and every time. Write a for loop where int I should start from 0. I is less than n. Okay, I plus plus. So this I loop will execute for how many times? This I loop will execute n times. It will execute for n times. Inside this I loop, what is there? Inside the I loop, there is a J loop where int j should start from 0. J is less than n. Okay, j plus plus. Okay, below the J loop, what is there? Below the J loop, it is system dot out dot print ln. Okay, print ln. This is outside the J loop. What is inside the J loop? It is system dot out dot print. What you have to print? Print star. Okay, yes. So this is what you have to write. So we will get 5 cross 5 star. There is a chance that you will be writing print ln here also. In both places you will write print ln. You have written print ln here as well as here. In these kind of cases, if you execute, what will happen? Let's see. Okay. So you will get some output like this. Can you see in a straight line we got the answer? Because print ln star you have told means print star go to new line. Print star go to new line. That's the meaning of print ln star, right? Print star go to new line. Yes. So that's why you have to be careful that inside the J loop it is always print, outside the J loop it is print ln. Simple. Now I know that many of you are like thinking, sir, in first day only we are seeing so much of code, sir, we are not understanding. So that's why I have to trace also. Like I have to explain you how the control flow is happening here. Okay. So I will be explaining that. So what I'll do now is I'll be writing something like this. First I have to explain you. Okay, I have to explain you some concept here. That concept I'll be explaining now because it will be helpful for me. So system dot out dot print ln. Now you know that whatever I tell in double quotes it will print as it is, right? Okay. So I have a variable here, right? I have a variable int a is equals to 5. Now how do I print the value a? Can I tell a here like this? Okay. I can't tell a like that. Why? Because if I tell a in double quotes, whatever you tell in double quotes, as it is, it will print. Whatever you tell in double quotes, as it is, it will print. You don't want to print a as it is. You want to print the value of a. Whenever you want to print the value of a, you should not include double quotes. Okay, you should not include double quotes like this. So this will be the output 5. Yes, a value is 5. But what you want is you want to print this is your expected output. You want to print that 5 and you want to print dash dash like this. You want to print something like this. You want to print this symbol. Okay. Now how do you print that symbol? Because you know that if you wanted to print that symbol, you have to tell within double quotes. Yeah. If you tell like this, right? If you tell dash dash and arrow mark, it will print that as it is. Yes. So see, it will print that as it is. But what do I want? Can you see here? I want the value of a before that string. Now I'll tell you, this is called as a string. Okay, whatever you tell in double quotes, it is called as a string. Your name, college name, all those things, that is a string, characters. Okay, so before this I want one variable, I want to put the value of a variable. Yes, if I told here 5, yes, you are telling, sir, we can write 5 only. What's the problem here, right? Yes, I don't want that 5 to be fixed, right? I don't want that 5 to be fixed, because when the a value changes to 50, when a value changes to 50, I want that 50 to come here, not 5. But you notice here, if a value becomes 50, your output is still 5 only. Yes, I don't want this to happen. Whatever the value of a is there, that I want it to come here, which means I have to write a here. Agree or not? Simple. Yes or no? So a value, then the string value. Okay, this is simple, right? But if I write like this, there will be a problem like this. This is a problem. It is not understanding. You told two things. Okay, you told a, you told dash dash symbol. What do you want to do, right? What do you want to do? That's what you want to tell. For example, you imagine you are sitting in front of me. I'll do like this. Take this. I'll tell you have taken this. I'll tell you take this mouse. You have taken this. Now you are looking at my face. You are asking me, sir, what do you want me to do with this object? Agree or not? So we have to tell, yes, I have given the a value, I have given the string. What do you want to do? I have to tell you join them together. Yes, you join them together. So how to join together? If you are thinking, you have to tell plus sign. When you tell plus sign, it means that the value of a is joined with that string double quotes. So I hope you have understood. So if I tell like this, let's see, compile time, no error, right? No error. If I execute, see, the value of a and the string is joined. So if you tell plus, that is the way to join. Okay. So I'll change it to 500. Will it affect my output? Yes, it should affect my output now. Okay. Let's see. See, the value of a 500 is attached with that dash dash. So I hope now most of you got to know, how to attach a value and a string. Okay. So let's imagine that I have one more variable b, right? I have one more variable b, and I will tell here, it is 66, right? And how do I attach b? Now what do I want is like this. I want 500 dash dash dash. I'll tell 66 here. Okay. So if I want to do this, now don't you think here what should come is b variable should come? But I have to clearly tell, hey, this string is there, I know. This b is there, I know. Between this string and b, what do you want to do? I have to tell plus sign again. So I have to tell plus sign again. Okay. If you tell plus sign, then only it will work. So you will get the output as like this. So compilation, no problem. If I execute, I'll get the output as like this. So I hope you clearly understood, right, that how to attach a string for two variables. Okay. Because sometimes what you want to do, you want to print like this, that is a comma b, you want to print a comma b, like coordinates of a plane, x comma y is there, right? In the same case, if you want to print like this, so 500 comma 66. Now you are thinking, sir, what I want to do is I want 500 comma 66 is there, but I want to put this bracket also. I want to put this bracket. Now if I want to put the bracket, that bracket you have to tell in double quotes, right? Now you have to tell between this double quotes and a add that, attach that you have to tell. Okay. Not only that, after b, what do you want? You want the closing bracket. But sir, closing bracket and b, what do you want? Attach it by telling plus. So you have to understand, after each symbol you have to keep on telling plus 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 everywhere. Okay. Let's see what will happen. Let's see. See, we have got the output, that is 500 comma 66. Okay. So what will happen here? First closing bracket is there, so closing bracket will come. Then you are telling, give me the value of a, attach the value of a, value of a is attached. Okay. Then you are telling attach comma as it is, it will attach comma as it is. Then you are telling attach b. Okay, you are attaching the b value. For the previous value, attach closing bracket, and closing bracket is attached. So this concept, it has to be clear so that the next concept will understand. Okay. So what's here? What I'll do is, for the previous for loop, whatever we had, right? Now definitely you will understand complete that star patterns. Watch here, because this tracing part not much people will do it, but I will do it for you. Watch here. What I want is, whenever it is printing, okay, whenever it is printing, I want to print I value and j value together. I want to print I value and j value together. If I want to print I value and j value together, can I tell I plus j here? No. Okay, if you tell I plus j, what will happen? I and j are integer and integer, they are added together. Okay, so I don't want addition to happen. So what I'll tell is between I and j, put one comma. I will tell like this, between I and j, what I want a comma, so that I will get to know, okay, what's the I value, what's the j value. But you know how to attach, right? You have to tell plus and you have to tell plus here. Okay, this is what you have to tell. So if I compile and execute, let's see, watch here. See, it is printing I value, it is printing comma, it is printing j value. It is printing I value, comma, j value, right? I value, comma, j value. But don't you think it is not looking very neat here? Why? Because after this I value, comma, j value, after this j, you want one space, right? You want one space. You want it to be little far apart from each other. So after I and j pair, you want one space. Okay. If you want a space, tell me, do you want a space after a I or after a j? Yes, after a j, after this j you want a space. So you tell after this j, one space I need, like this one space I need. But j and space has to be attached, so plus I will tell. Now if I compile and execute, watch here, after j I'll be having one space. So I'll be having a space like this. So you want, watch here, I value, comma, j value, space. 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 I value, comma, j value. So where is space, you are thinking? There is a space here, okay? One space is there here, okay? Then it will go to the new line. So I hope you have understood, I value, comma, j. So if you tell I value, comma, j, can you notice here, this is the number which you are printing? So if I explain you how these numbers are getting printed, then only you will understand the for loop completely. So it is my duty to explain you this. Okay, so what I will do is I'll be explaining this code, right? I'll be explaining this code. So let me write the for loop here. For loop int I should start from 0. I is less than let's say 3 here. Okay, I plus plus. And here there is a for loop. Okay, for this I would like to take a different color here. Okay, so that will be easy for us to understand. Yes, there is a for loop where int, int j should start from 0, j is less than n, j is less than 3, right? J is less than 3, j plus plus. Okay, inside this what we have to tell? We have to tell system.out.print. I have to tell I value plus comma plus j value and one space. Yes, that is print. That is not println, right? Inside the j loop it is always print. Outside the j loop I'll write system.out.println. Okay, yes, and after this I'll be closing this I loop. I have closed this I loop. Now I will explain you how the control flows. Okay, this is the time to completely understand the for loop. Okay, if you are not understood till now, no problem, you can watch it now, you will understand. So let's say how the control is flowing. So I would like to take a different colored pen here, right? Yes. So control first come to the for loop. As soon as control comes to the for loop, what will for loop do? It will give the control to the initialization block, which means whenever control is given there, okay, immediately now your I variable comes into the picture because it is declared now. So now the control I variable comes into picture. In the I value your initial is 0, so 0 will come and sit here. Okay, after that it will check the condition, right? What's the I value? 0. Is 0 less than 3? Yes, 0 is less than 3. Condition is true. If the condition is true, execute the body of which loop? I loop, right? Now I am in the I loop, the topper loop. Execute the body of I loop, you are telling. Now the question is, what is the body of I loop? See, I'll be changing the color here. What is the body of the I loop? This whole thing, whatever you are seeing, this is the body of I loop. Okay, there are two statements in the body of I loop. One is j loop, one more is println. So this whole thing is the body of the I loop. So yes, we'll check the condition again. Okay, so you are telling is 0 less than 3? Yes, 0 is less than 3. Execute the body of I loop you are telling, which means now the control will come here to the body of I loop. When the control comes here, it will see, yes, for loop, so it will give the control to j, and now your j variable is declared, right? It is declared. So your j memory becomes like this. You are initialized with the 0, so j value becomes 0. Now you are checking the condition. Okay, you are checking the condition. A is 0 less than 3. Yes, 0 is less than 3. If the condition is true, yes, condition is true. If the condition is true, execute the body of j loop you are telling. Okay, but the question is, what is the body of j loop? This is the body of the j loop. Agree or not? There is only one body of the j loop. So that's what it is. So is 0 less than 3? Yes. You are telling execute the body of j loop you are telling. So it will execute this body of j loop. It will execute this. What you are telling? Print. So initially, okay, your cursor is here, right? Your cursor is here in the top left corner. You are telling print I value as it is. What's the I value in the memory? Look here. What's the I value in the memory? 0. Then you are telling a print comma. So comma will be printed. Then you are telling a print j value. What's the j value in the memory? That is also 0. Then you are telling print space. So one space will be printed. Okay, one space. Let me represent the space as like this. So one space will be printed. After printing the space, okay, cursor will move to the right because there your cursor will be. Here your cursor will be, right? Because as soon as you print something, cursor moves to the right. So you have printed a space, so cursor moves here. Yes, printing is done, right? Printing is done. After printing is done, don't you think cursor will come below like this? Cursor will see this closing bracket. Whenever cursor sees this closing bracket, what will happen? Now the closing bracket, this closing bracket, which loop closing bracket? Is it the closing bracket of I loop or is it the closing bracket of j loop? Now don't you think this is the closing bracket of j loop? Yes, if it sees the closing bracket of j loop, j plus plus happens. Control comes to j plus plus. J plus plus will happen. So j plus plus means j value becomes what? J value becomes 1 now. Okay, j value becomes 1. As soon as update happens, don't you think again it will check the condition? Yes, it will check the condition again. When it checks the condition, what it will check here? Okay, what's the updated j value? J value is 1. Is 1 less than 3? Yes, 1 is less than 3 again. Again the condition is true. When the condition is true, you are telling, execute the body of j loop. This is the body of j loop. It will execute this. So when it executes, you are telling print I value. What's the I value in the memory? It is 0. So 0 will be printed. Comma. Okay. You are telling after comma, you are telling print j value. What's the j value in the memory? It is 1. Then you are telling print space. So space will be printed. Okay. So this is what it is. Next, what will happen? Next, what will happen is after printing, after SOP is completed, nothing is there in the j loop. So this control will see the closing bracket. It will see the closing bracket. Is this closing bracket, is it of the I loop or the inner loop j loop? This closing bracket is of the inner loop j loop. If it is of the inner loop j loop, j plus plus happens, not I plus plus. I plus plus will happen when the control comes to the closing bracket of I loop. Now the control is here only. It's in the closing bracket of j loop. So j plus plus happens. J becomes 2. J becomes 2. So when j becomes 2, again after update, after j becomes 2, it will again check the condition. What is the j value? J value is 2 now. Is 2 less than 3? Yes, 2 is less than 3. Condition is true. If the condition is true, execute the body of the j loop, and in the body of j loop you are telling print I value. What is the I value in the memory? It is still 0, right? It is still 0. Then print a comma, print j value. What is j value in the memory? It is 2. It is 2. Then print a space, so space is printed. After printing that, cursor will come and see this closing bracket. Yes, cursor will come and see this closing bracket. Now, this closing bracket is of which loop? The inner loop j loop. So j plus plus happens, j becomes 3. Now when j becomes 3, it will check the condition. Okay, that is, a is 3 less than 3? No, 3 is not less than 3. So the condition is false now. The condition is false. When the condition is false, what will happen? Control will come out of the j loop. For the first time now, control comes out of j loop like this. Control comes to the second line. Because loop is completed, control will come out of the j loop. When the control comes out of the j loop, you are telling SOP ln. Now what happened is all of the cursor was here, right? Cursor was here. Because of SOP ln, cursor from here, it will move and it will come here now. The cursor has to come to new line, SOP ln. After SOPLN, is there any other statement? No, there is no other statement, which means it will see the closing bracket of I loop. It will see the closing bracket of I loop. When it sees the closing bracket of I loop, what will happen? I plus plus will happen. So for the first time I plus plus is happening, I becomes 1. Right? For the first time I plus plus is happening, I becomes 1. After I plus plus happens, it will check the condition. Is I, is it less than 3? What's the I value now? I value is 1. Is 1 less than 3? Yes, 1 is less than 3. If 1 is less than 3, condition is true, execute the body of I loop, you are telling. You are executing the body of I loop. Now when you are executing the body of I loop, watch here. First, what is the body of I loop? That is the J loop. So, when the control comes to this J loop, again for the second time, control is again given to the initialization part, which means again your J becomes 0. So this J is there, right? It becomes 0 again because control came again here. That's the reason. J becomes 0. Immediately it will check the condition. A is 0. Is it less than 3? Yes, 0 is less than 3. Condition is true. Execute I and J. Print this. What is the I value in the memory? You can notice I value is 1. So it will print 1 here. It will print 1. Comma. Right? Because comma is there here. Print J value. What is the J value in the memory? It is 0. It is 0. Okay. Then you are telling give one space. So space is there. Fine. After printing this, your print statement, after printing the statement, it will see the closing bracket of which loop? J loop, not I loop. It is J loop. So in the J loop, J plus plus happens. J becomes what in the memory? It becomes 1. Right? J becomes 1. As soon as it increments, it will up, it will check the condition. So what is the latest J value? 1. Is 1 less than 3? Yes, 1 is less than 3. Again execute SOP I plus J. SOP I, print the I value. What is the I value in the memory? It is 1. You are telling print comma. What is the J value in the memory? That is also 1. So 1 comma 1 you are printing. After this, okay, after this printing I and J values, print statement is over. Print statement is finished. So control will come below. It will see the closing bracket of which loop? J loop again. Okay, because until the condition is true, it will be inside the J loop only. So again J plus plus happens. J becomes 2. It will check the condition. Okay, it will check the condition. A is 2 less than 3. Yes, 2 is less than 3. If the condition is true, execute this SOP I and J. I value, print the I value. What's I value in the memory? That is 1. Print comma you are telling, print comma you are telling. Then print J value you are telling. What's the J value? 2. Then you are telling print space. It will print that space. Then cursor will be blinking here. Yes. After this, it will see the closing bracket. So J plus plus happens. J becomes what now? Okay. J becomes from the 2. J becomes 3. Right? J becomes 3. It will check the condition because after plus plus, it will check the condition. A is 3 less than 3. No, the condition is false. If the condition is false, what will happen? The control will come out of the J loop. SOP LN you are telling. Cursor from here, it will start blinking in the new line again. Cursor will come here to the new line. After SOP LN, is there any other statement? No. It will see the closing bracket of which loop? I loop. So I plus plus happens here. Again, I plus plus happens. Control, when you see the closing bracket of I loop, I plus plus happens. So I hope you have understood that, right? Okay. So let me erase this. So I plus plus happens and I becomes what now? I becomes 1. Okay. I becomes I plus plus means I becomes 2 now. So you have to check here, right? You have to check here. After I becomes 2, you are checking the condition. Is it 2? Is it less than 3? Yes, 2 is less than 3. Yes. If 2 is less than 3, condition is true. Again execute the body of I loop. So again the control is given to J loop. Again your J is initialized to what? It is initialized to 0. Okay. Is 0, is it less than 3? Yes, 0 is less than 3. So print I value. What is the I value in the memory? 2. Comma. Print J value. What is J value in the memory? 0. After printing I value and J value, this line is completed. Control will come to this closing bracket. Closing bracket of J loop. So J plus plus happens. J becomes 1. It will check the condition. Okay. It will check the condition as soon as it increments. Okay. That is, A is 1. Is it less than 3? Yes. 1 is less than 3. Then the condition is true. Execute the body of J loop. This is the body of J loop. Print I value. What's the I value in the memory? 2. Comma. print j value. What's j value in the memory? 1 space. After printing this is very important now. Watch here, very important. Yes. So it will see the closing bracket here. So again j plus plus happens. J becomes what? 2. It will check the condition. Okay, that is it 2. Is it less than 3? Yes, 2 is less than 3. If 2 is less than 3, condition is true. If the condition is true, okay, if the condition is true, execute, okay, this SOP statement. Print I value. What's the I value in the memory? It is 2. It is 2. Comma. What is j value in the memory? That is also 2. Right? Both I and j value 2 and 2. Yes. You have printed this. You have printed this. So what will happen? Closing bracket. Yes. Watch here carefully. This is the point where you have to understand. Closing bracket is seen. Closing bracket of which loop? J loop. So j plus plus happens. J value is there, right? It becomes 3. J value becomes 3. When j value becomes 3, okay, it will check the condition again. Is this 3, is it less than 3? No, 3 is not less than 3. Condition is false. If the condition is false, it come out of the j loop. Yes, control has come out of the j loop. You are telling print, print ln. So cursor from here, it will come and blink here. Okay, it has come to the new line. Now it will see the closing bracket of which loop? I loop. So I plus plus happens. I value becomes what? I value becomes, okay, I value becomes 3. I plus plus, I value becomes 3. It will check the condition now. What's the I value? 3. Is 3 less than 3? No. Condition is false. Now when this condition is false, the control will come out of the I loop now, which means till now the control was flowing inside this, right? Now the control will come out of the I loop. When the control comes out of the I loop, your program will end. So I hope you have understood how we are getting this output, right? So if I show you this code and if I change n value to 3, okay, if I compile and execute, let's see what output we will get. See, we are getting the output as 0 0 0 1 0 2, 1 0 1 1 1 2, 2 0 2 1 2 2. The same output we are getting here also. See, 0 0 0 1 0 2, 1 0 1 1 1 2, 2 0 2 1 2 2. So I hope that you have understood this tracing part, because this is very important here. If you not understood, definitely do watch the video again and again till you understand. Okay. So as of now, you can take this screenshot if you want. You can take this screenshot. Yes. So what you have to understand, the important point also. There is one more important point. That is, for one I value, don't you think there were many j values, right? That is, when your I value was 0, right? When your I value was 0, don't you think? Okay, let me change a different color. Yes. So when your I value was 0, okay, I value is 0, don't you think 0 1 2 3 0 1 2 3 was your j values? When your I value was 1, okay, then 0 1 2 3 was your j values. When your I value is 2, here 0 1 2 3 was your j values. Yes. You what to understand is, for one I loop there will be many, for one I value there will be many j values. Okay, if for one I value there will be many j values. This is the working of inner loop and outer loop. Whenever you write outer loop, inside that there is one more inner loop, it means that this outer loop will execute for less number of times, but the inner loop will execute for more number of times. Okay, that's what you have to understand. Outer loop will execute for one number of times, a little number of times, and the inner loop will execute for maximum number of times. So this is what you have to understand. Okay, so I'll be clearing this. Okay, so now whatever you are seeing here, this was the output which we got. So what you are printing two values. You are printing 0, 0. Two values are there. In that, which is the I value, which is the j value? Now don't you think the first value is the I value, because we are printing I plus j, right? The first value is the I value, this is the I value, this is the j value. Everywhere this is the I value, j value, this is the I value, j value. Yes, everywhere it is like this, which means, now don't you think, okay, now tell me what is common here everywhere? What is common in that row, what is common? Don't you think the I value is common? So 0, 0 and 0 here. Yes, in that row what is common? In that row your I value, the 0 is common, right? In this row what is common? In this row you can see 1 1 and 1, right? So that 1 is common. I'll write 1. And in this row, what is common? In this row, that 2, which is the I value, okay, that 2 is common, right? And don't you think all these values, these are the I values, right? This is the I value, yes, this is the I value, okay? Now don't you think it is like saying, this is the 0th row, right? This is the 0th row, this is the first row, this is the second row, okay? That's why row means which variable? Row means I variable. Okay, so I am giving you the reason now why row means I, because you can notice here. Okay, now let me take one more example, that is about the column. Okay, so what is in this, in this column, what is common? What is common? 0, 0, 0 is common. So I'll write here 0 is common. In this column, okay, what is common? 1 is common. In this column, what is common? 2 is common. 2. And all of these values, 0, that's the second value, right? Second value is the j value. So all of these values are your j values. That is why column, okay, column means j value. This is what you have to understand. Row means I, column means j. Never forget. After telling this much also you will forget, because human tendency, that's why to remember this, that is why I will tell one small trick. This is a silly trick, but that's the only trick which is there, So how to remember that row means I here? How is like this, okay? So alphabetically, if I come alphabetically, which comes first? If I write A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, okay, after I comes J, right? So don't think I comes first here. I is a smaller alphabet, J is a bigger alphabet because it comes later. Yes. And in the row and column, the word row, don't you think the word row is smaller than the word column? Word row is smaller than the word column here, right? Right? See the length here. How many letters are there in row? 3 letters are there. How many letters are there in column? 6 letters are there. Yes, row is smaller than column. And alphabetically, I is smaller than J because I comes first, J comes later. That's why matching, like this. Row I means row, J means column, matching, right? So I hope you have understood, that row means I, column means J. So you have to understand that 0, 1, 2 are the I values, which are rows. J values, column is like this, right? These are the J values. So once you you take this screenshot. Once you understood this topic, it will be more easy to do the star patterns. Okay, so I hope you have taken this screenshot. Okay, so everything is great, everything is ready. Now we can start to do this star patterns. Okay. So let's imagine that I want to draw a star pattern here like this. So this star pattern I want to draw. If this star pattern I want to draw, okay, then how can I start, right? I'll tell you what you have to do always. Before drawing any star pattern, this is a difficult star pattern, right? Yes, before drawing any star pattern, always draw 3 cross 3 star pattern. Okay, always you have to draw this first. Okay, this is the first thing you have to do. Why? Because after you did this, you can transform this to that. Yes, because what most people will do is they will do this mistake. They'll directly start to write the actual program. Don't write the actual program. First you check the basic program, whether am I getting the basic program properly or not. Right? Yes, I am getting complete 3 cross 3 star. Okay, I am getting in the new line. Yes, everything is correct. Then you proceed further. Okay, fine. So now if I go to the code, right, I would like to print a 3 cross 3 star. So what I will tell is like this. Print star I will tell. Now don't you think this is the code to print a 3 cross 3 star? Yes. So I have printed 3 cross 3 star everywhere, right? Now Don't you think here the n value is not 3, the n value is 5 here, because you want 5 rows and 5 columns. So n value is 3, you make your n value as 5. N value is 5. If you make your n value as 5, what will happen? Watch here. What will happen is, you are printing stars everywhere. Now, do you want to print stars everywhere? No, you don't want to print stars everywhere, right? Yes, where do you want to print? That's the question, right? Where do you want to print your stars? Okay, let's see here. What I'll do is, I'll be writing these values. Okay, watch it. So, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, right? Because if it is a 5 cross 5 star, it is from 0 to 4. Then it is 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, and like this it continues. So, this is our I and j values. Now let's see. Okay, how can I tell to the compiler? A compiler, don't print stars everywhere. Print stars only in this line, right? So how do I tell the compiler? A print stars only in this line, right? So what is unique here that it is not anywhere else, right? What is so unique about this? What is so unique? Can you see 0? Can you see 0 here? Don't you think in this line I value is always 0 only? Right? In this line, I value is always 0 only. So I'll tell the compiler, wherever you see I value as 0, print star there. Now can you see anywhere I value as 0? Yes, let's see. This is I value. Can you see it as 0? No, it is not 0. This is a I value. Can you see 0? No. If you notice, I value 0 only in that line. Okay, that is how I have to represent that line. I have to tell the compiler, don't print stars everywhere here in middle also. Don't print stars in middle also. There is some condition. You wait, there is some condition. What is the condition? Wherever I value 0, only there you print star. That's what I'll tell here. I'll tell the compiler, don't print stars everywhere. If I tell print star, don't think everywhere it will print star. That's how I'll tell, I'll cut it. I'll tell, only if some condition is true, only if some condition is true, then only print that star. I will tell. So within the if condition, I have told. Inside that, if what I have to tell, if I value equal to 0, if I value equal to 0, then only you print that star. So I've compiled, and let's see. Wherever I value is 0, don't you think the first line I value is 0? Yes, only there it will print the star. Only there it will print the star. Okay, then what we'll see. Okay, that is fine, sir. Then I want to print stars here. I want to print stars here. What to do, sir? What to do means, you see in that line, what is common? Don't think 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 is common everywhere. Is that 0? Is it I value or j value? J value. I have to tell, wherever j value is 0, print a star. Yes. So is there any other place where j value is 0? No. Only in that place j value is 0. So I have to go to the condition. I have to tell, if j value is equal to 0, okay, then print a star. I have to tell. But the question is this valid? Can you guys tell me, is this valid? No, it is not valid, because I have told you, right? This if condition, it requires a Boolean value. Okay. So Boolean value is true or false. Yes, if you write here I equal 0, it will tell true or false, because it's a relational operator. This is also a relational operator, it returns a Boolean value. But between two Boolean values, did you use any operator in between? No. You have to use either or and. So the two Boolean values can be combined. So if I write and, will I get the proper answer? No. Why? Let's see. Okay, if I compile and execute, what answer I will get? Let's see. If I use and operator, this is the single star which I'll be getting. I got one star. Why only one star? Because you are telling, you have to print this star, only if both I value equal to 0 and means must condition j value should be 0. You are telling, wherever both I and j value are 0, there only you print the star. Now you notice here, don't you think, right? Only in this place your I value and j value is 0. That is there any other place where both I and j are 0? No. That is why you will get star in only one point. So you should not use and operator, you have to use or operator. Okay, you have to use OR operator. So if I use OR operator, okay, this is how it is. OR operator I have used. Now let's see whether it will get proper output or not. I compiled and I have executed. See, I have got the proper output. Okay, this is fine, sir. Then next what? Next what means like this, I want this star to be printed. I want this star to be printed. So if I want to print that star, what is common everywhere? What is common everywhere? 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 is common, right? Yes. So how to tell, is it I value or J value? That's the first value, that's the I value. So how to tell, wherever, I have to again use OR operator because you understood now, you can't use AND operator. Wherever I value equal to 4, a print that star you are telling. Okay, fine. So I'll compile and execute, let's see. I'll compile and if I execute, I have got the output, right? I have got the output. Now the question is, should I write 4 here? Should I write 4 here? No, you should not write 4. Don't think 4 is nothing but 5 minus 1. 4 is nothing but 5 minus 1. And what is 5? 5 is nothing but your n value. And this is what you have to write. So why, sir? Why have to write n minus 1? Why? Because as your n changes, your n minus 1 also changes. Imagine that you had written 4 here. You have written 4. If you write 4, this is a hard coding. Hard code means, the value will not dynamically change. The code will not change dynamically according to the input. Imagine the user wanted n equal to 3. Right? User wanted 3 cross 3. In that case, you will not get the proper output. Okay, why you will not get the proper output? Watch here. You will not get a proper output like this. Or if n value is 7, you will not get a proper output. Why? N value changed, but did your code change? No. Your code should change according to the n value. See, this is what you will get. What you have to tell? You have to tell that line is there, no? Don't you think line should come in the last row here? Last row is always n minus 1. Because number starts from 0, last row is always n minus 1. So, what I have to tell here is, whatever the n value is there, you just write n minus 1. That will become more clearer. Okay? So, this is the way where dynamically it will change. So, this is what you have to write, n minus 1. See, whatever the n value is there, last row I will get. Okay. Now I know what many people of you are thinking, okay, because this is subconscious, okay, you will think like this. What you will think is, since, okay, yes, I'll be, what I have to do is, keep, yes, I'll be minimizing this, okay. So what you actually thought like this, okay, this is the thought process which everyone is having now. I'll be changing this color. Just a minute. Okay. So yes, I want a highlighter here so that I can show it to you more clearly. So what you thought is, first I equal to 0 is there. I equal to 0 means computer, what it will do? It will first print this line. That is what you are thinking. It will first print this line. After printing stars in this line, then j equal to 0, right? Then j is equal to 0 is there, which means compiler, it will print stars in this line. It will print stars in this line. That is what you are thinking. Next, you are telling I equal to n minus 1, which means after printing this line, then compiler will print this line. This is what you are thinking. Okay. Then you tell me, if compiler prints this line, means cursor has to come here. If cursor has to come here, can the cursor ever go back up and print star here? No. Right? It can't do that, which means whatever you are thinking, that is wrong. If you write I equal to 0, it doesn't mean that it will print 0th line first. After I equal to 0, you told j equal to 0. It doesn't mean that it will print j equal to 0 first. I'll tell you what is happening here. Control flow, I'll explain. But I hope you have understood here. Okay? Yes. So next what we'll see. Okay? Next we'll see what we have to do. Okay? This is very important. You will understand now. Now don't you think, right? Don't you think that we have to print stars here also? If I want to print stars here, what is common everywhere here? 4 is common everywhere. Right? What is common everywhere? This 4 is common everywhere. Is it the first value or the second value? That 4 is the second value. That's the j value. If j is equal to 4, I have to write the code. Okay? Or if j is equal to 4, that 4 is can be written as n minus 1, right? Yes, I'll make n value as 5 here. Yes. If j equal to n minus 1, what you have to do? I have to print star. Yes. So how many of you will tell me, that I'll get the correct output? Sir, everything is correct, sir, no need to worry. If you are thinking like that, you are wrong. Okay, watch here. What's the output? We are not getting the proper output. Sir, why we are not getting the proper output, sir? We'll trace and we'll understand. Okay, we'll trace and we'll understand. We are not getting the proper output. So let's trace it, right? Okay. So I will be erasing unwanted things here. Okay. So now you might be thinking, sir, should we write like this only? That should we write I equal to 0 first only? No. What you can do is you can write I equal to 0 here and j equal to 0 here. Anyhow you can do it, So if I compile and execute, see there is no changes in the output. So you can see here, that is, we'll get the same output. We can interchange it anywhere, right? I'll cut this from here. Okay, I'll cut it and I'll paste it here, right? And I'll cut this from here and I'll paste it here. So anywhere you place it, it doesn't matter, right? So anywhere you can write it. So if I compile and execute, I'll get the same output. Okay. So now why you are getting the same, that crooked output, let's see, you will clearly understand. Okay. So I have told you something very clearly, right? That in today's class I have told you, when the cursor will go front, your cursor will go front or your cursor will go to the new line only if you print something. If you print something, then only cursor can move to the right, or else your cursor will never move to the right. When you print something, it prints and cursor will move to the right. So again, if you print there, it prints there, again cursor moves to the right. So it will keep on happening. Okay, which means if your cursor has to move right, something has to get printed. Okay. Now I'll be showing this code. So let me trace this code and tell you what is happening here. So this will be my output. Okay, this will be my output, and my tracing I and j values will be here. So this is my I memory, right? I memory, and this is my j memory. Initially my I and j values are 0 and 0. Okay, that is fine. So when the control comes here, okay, is 0 less than 5? Yes, 0 is less than 5. Okay, so condition is to execute the j loop. Okay, j is executed. Is 0 less than 5? Yes, this condition is also true. Now what I want you to understand is, this if condition is there, right? It will be checked each and every time. Okay, it will check each and every time. So what will happen is, control will come here now, because condition is true. It will execute this if block. It will check the first condition. Is j equal to 0? What's the j value now in the memory? Yes, j value is 0. Is 0 equal to 0? Yes, 0 is equal to 0. I told you, right? In the OR operator, if the first condition is true, everything is true, right? In OR operator, if any one of them is true, everything is true. So in OR operator, as soon as it sees the first true condition, it will not check other conditions, and that's why control will not go here. Control will not go here. Okay, this is true. If this is true, print star. Where it will be printed? Initially, cursor will be in the top left corner. So star will be printed there where the cursor is. Print star has happened, so I'll erase all this. Yes. So star is printed. Then what? After star is printed, then there is a closing bracket of which loop? J loop. After star is printed, there is a closing bracket of if. So control will come out of the if. After control comes out of the if, there is a closing bracket of j loop. So j plus plus happens. J becomes 1. J becomes 1. Okay. So after j becomes 1, it will again check the condition. A is 1 less than 5. Yes, 1 is less than 5. So control again come to the if condition now. We will check the condition. What is the j value now? J value is 1. A is 1 equal to 0? No, 1 is not equal to 0. If the condition is false, then only it will check the second condition. What's the j value now? J value is 1. A is 1 equals to 5 minus 1, that is 4. No, that condition also false. It will check the third condition. I value, what's the I value now? This is the I value, right? What's the I value? I value is 0 in the memory. Is 0 equal to 0? Yes. In that case, condition is true. It will not check the last condition. Because of this true condition, it will print a star. Where it will print the star? It will print the star wherever the cursor is. It will print the star here. Cursor will move to the right. Okay. Then what? Then what means? Watch here. Okay. I'll be erasing this. Okay. Yes. After printing that star, cursor move to the right. After that, it will see the closing bracket of j loop. So j plus plus happens. J becomes 2 here. J becomes 2. It will check the condition, that is it 2? Okay. Is this 2? Is it less than 5? Yes, 2 is less than 5. Again check the if condition. So you have to understand, your if condition is checked again and again for each and every line, for each and every point. All the conditions are checked. Okay. So is j, what's the j value in the memory? J value is 2. Is 2 equal to 0? No. Then j value is 2. Is 2 equal to 4? 5 minus 1, 4. No. I value in the memory is 0. Is 0 equal to 0? Yes. Because this is a true condition, it will not check other conditions. It will print star. Where it will print? Where the current cursor is. So here is the current cursor, it will print star here. As soon as it prints star, cursor moves to the right. Yes, you have to understand that. So after printing star, it will see the closing bracket of if. So control will come out of the if. You will see the closing bracket of for, j loop. So j plus plus happens, j becomes 3. J becomes 3. After j becomes 3, it will first what it will do? It will check the condition. Okay, this is very important. That's why I am explaining it very slowly here. So j becomes 3. Is 3 less than 5? Yes, 3 is less than 5. If the condition is true, execute the if condition again and again and again for each and every point. What's the j value now in the memory? J value is 3. Is 3 equal to 0? No. Then is 3 equal to 4? 5 minus 1 is 4. N minus 1 is 4. No. What is the I value in the memory? 0. Is 0 equal to 0? Yes. Because this condition is true, it will print the star. What it will print? Star. Star. Then cursor will move to the right. Okay. Then after that, your j will increment. And when your j increments, see, watch here, this is important. Your j becomes 4. Your j becomes 4. Yes. You will check the condition that is 4 less than 5. Yes, 4 is less than 5. If the condition is true, what will happen? If the condition is true, execute the if condition. What's the j value now? 4. Is 4 equal to 0? No. What's the j value? 4. Is 4 equal to 5 minus 1? Yes. 5 minus 1 is 4. So 4 is equal to 4. Condition is true. If the condition is true, what will happen? Star will get printed. Right? Star will get printed. Now if you notice, don't you think in this position, I value is also 0 only? In the first row, I value is also 0. But because of this OR operator, when it sees the first condition, there it is the last column also, there it is the first row also, then it will print star there. Right? Any one of the condition, it will print star. After printing star, cursor moves to the right. Okay, cursor moves to the right. Closing bracket of j loop, j plus plus happens. J plus plus means what will be the j value now? J value will be 5, right? J plus plus happens means j value will be 5 here. When j value will be 5, so you have to check here, that is 5 less than 5? No, condition is false. When the condition is false, control will come out of the j loop, SOP-LN, cursor will come to the new line, cursor will come to the new line. After SOP-LN, okay, what do we have? We have closing bracket of which loop? I loop. So I plus plus happens, your I becomes 1. Yes, watch here, your I becomes 1. Your I becomes 1, then it will check the condition again. Is 1, okay, is it less than 5? Yes, 1 is less than 5. If the condition is true, again execute the j loop, which means your j value is there, right? It will again become 0, because again it will start executing from the beginning. J equal to 0. Is 0 less than 5? Yes. Okay, now when the control comes inside, okay, what's the j value from the memory? J value is 0. Is 0 equal to 0? Yes, now watch here, this is where the concept starts. Is 0 equal to 0? Yes, condition is true. It will not check other conditions. It will print star where the cursor is. It will print star here, and understand this thing, cursor moves here. So when the cursor moved, when you print it, then only cursor moved. Okay, that is fine. Now watch here. Okay, now watch here. After printing happened, your j plus plus will happen. Your j value becomes what now? Your j value becomes 1. J plus plus has happened. You are checking the condition, is 1 less than 5? Is 1 less than 5? Yes. You are coming inside. What's the j value now? Your j value is 1. Is 1 equal to 0? No. What's the j value? 1. Is 1 equal to 4? No. OR operator. I value. What's the I value from the memory? 1. Is 1 equal to 0? No. Then I value from the memory is 1. Is 1 equal to 4? No. None of the conditions are true. If none of the conditions are true, then it is if of false. If it is if of false, you are not executing the if body. If you are not executing the if body, which means you are not printing anything. Hey, if you are not printing anything, will the cursor move front? No, that is why the cursor is there only. Even though your I and j are incrementing, your cursor is still in the same position. Okay, next what will happen? So if condition is false, so nothing will get printed, nothing will get printed. Okay, nothing will get printed. So nothing will happen here, but j plus plus will happen. Your j becomes 2, j plus plus. Is 2 less than 5? Yes, condition is true, control will come inside. It will check j value is 2, is 2 equal to 0? No. J value is 2, is 2 equal to 4? No. I value is still 1, right? Is 1 equal to 0? No. Is 1 equal to 4? No. Again, none of the conditions is true. Now, if none of the conditions is true, means nothing will get printed. If nothing is printed, cursor will not move front, it will be still there only in the screen. Next what will happen? Next j plus plus will happen, j becomes 3, your j increments to 3. Is 3 less than 5? Yes, 3 is less than 5. It will check the condition, is 3 equal to 0? No. Is 3 equal to 4? No. Is 1 equal to 0? Because I value is still 1. Is 1 equal to 0? No. 1 equal to 4? No. Again, none of the conditions is true. Again, nothing will get printed, cursor is still there. And now watch here, what happens is your j will again get incremented and your j value becomes 4. Now you are checking the condition, that is 4, is it less than 5? Yes, 4 is less than 5. So you are checking the condition like this. Okay, you are checking the condition, is 4 is equal to 0? No. J value is 4. Is 4 equal to 5 minus 1? Yes. Because the condition is true, okay, this condition is true, you are printing the star after a long time now. You are printing a star, right? Now where you are printing a star? Where the current cursor is. Can you see the current cursor blinking there? Yes. So there your star gets printed. I hope you understood. The star which is supposed to print here, don't think it is printed here now. Why? Because cursor did not move front. And so what you have to tell now is like this. Watch here. What you have to tell is, this is the problem. You have understood. You have to tell, hey, if there are some places where your condition is not matching, print space, right? Print space, so that, why? So that we will be seeing that separation. Because when you print space, space is a character. It will print space and it will go to the next line. It will print space, it will go to the next line. And when you want, you will get the appropriate star. Okay, so that is what we have to tell. Okay, that is what we have to tell. We have to tell here in, okay, if it is 0, 0, right? Yeah. So draw. Watch here. In 0, 0, right? It is 1, 0. I have to tell in this middle area, right? Wherever the condition is not matching, in the middle area, print space. Right? So what I have to tell? If I equal to 0, if j equal to 0, if I equal to n minus 1, if j equal to n minus 1, in this 4 line, print star. If it is not in the 4 line, means the inside, right? If it is not in the 4 line, means else part. Yes, that is what I have to tell in the code. Okay, if it is 4 line, you print star. For this, if there is one else. Okay, what I have to tell else part? System.out.println. Okay, print what? Print space. Now remember one thing, don't write println, because I have told you, right, inside the j loop it is always print. Don't you think this print statement is still inside the j loop only? It is always print. So don't tell empty string here, give one space, give one space. And now our code is complete. What I have told, if it is those 4 lines, print star. If it is not those 4 lines, else part, right, print space. So this is the program to print. Okay, so I hope that you have understood this code here with the tracing. Okay, so you can take this screenshot. I'll give you 3 seconds. But every time, definitely we can't draw this 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, right? We can't do like this. Then what is the trick? Directly we can get the code. I'll be telling you. So what you have to understand is like this. Okay. So if you have, right? If you have star pattern like this, right? Yes. Let's imagine like this only. Yeah. 4 cross 4. You have a star pattern here. Now you are noticing. Yes. Okay. You want to draw stars in this line. So you have to think, okay, is this row or column, right? Is that row or column? That is a row. Row means which variable? Row means I variable. I is equal to, is it the first row or is it the last row? It is the first row. So I is equal to 0 or, okay. Then you want to draw this line. Is this row or column? It is a row. Is it the first row or the last row? It is the last row. So I equal to last row means n minus 1. You want to draw this line. Is this row or column? That is a column. Column is which variable? It is j variable. J is equal to, is it the first column or is it the last column? First column is 0. Again OR operator. You want to draw this line. Is this row or column? It is a column, j. J is equal to, is it first column or last column? It is a last column. So j equal to n minus 1. I hope you have clearly understood this. And whatever you have written, you have to write inside the if. So if of this, print star, else print space. So this is the easiest way to do it. Now I hope you have understood this. So what we'll do is I'll give one more example. Now let's draw one alphabet. That alphabet is B. Okay, let's say alphabet is, let's say it is F, right? Let's say I want to draw the alphabet F. So in that case, I want to print a star here like this, right? Star. Okay. Yes, I want to print this star pattern. So this is the letter F. Okay. If I want to do this, okay, first I have to print this line, right? Now is that row or column? That is a row. Row means which variable? I. I is equal to, is it first row or is it the last row? It is the first row, so I equal to 0, OR operator. Okay. Then I want to draw this line, right? Is this row or column? It is a column. Column means which variable? J. J is equal to, is it the first column or last column? First column. J is also equal to 0, OR operator. Now I know, most of you are thinking, what to do here, sir? I'll tell you. Is this row or column? That is a row. Row means which variable? I. I is equal to, is it first row? No. Is it the last row? No. Don't think this is the middle row. And middle row, you can tell it as n by 2. You can tell n minus 1 by 2 also, but why to complicate? Why n minus 1 by 2? Why you have to expand things? Simply tell n by 2 here. N by 2. That's it. Okay. So let's see, if I write I equal to 0, j equal to 0, I equal to n by 2, will I get f or not? So I equal to 0, okay, I equal to 0, I equal to j equal to 0, I equal to n by 2. If I tell these three things, will I get the letter f or not? Let's see. I got the letter f, simple, right? So I want the letter T now. I want the letter T, right? So how do I do the letter T? Yes, let's see here. Yes, I'll do the letter T, which means this star pattern, okay? And here I want this star here, okay? So I want to draw line here. Is this row or column? That is a row. Row means which variable? I. I is equal to, is it the first row or the last row? It is the first row. So I equal to 0, OR operator. I want to draw this line. Is this row or column? It's a column. Column is which variable? J variable. J is equal to, am I drawing the first column? No. Am I drawing the last column? No. I am drawing the middle column, and middle column means n by 2. Right? So if I write I equal to 0, j equal to n by 2, I will be getting the letter T. I equal to 0, okay? So j is equal to n by 2. If I tell like this, I equal to 0 and j equal to n by 2, I will be getting the letter, okay? I will be getting the letter T. See, I got the letter T. Right? So I hope that everyone is very clear with this topic. That is why before ending today's class, I would like to give some homework for you guys. Okay? So I'll be giving you homework. Watch here. What you have to do is you have to draw these letters. Draw the letter A, draw the letter B, draw the letter C, draw the letter D. Okay? Then you can draw the letter E and try to draw the letter F. Draw the letter H. Okay? Sir, where is G? G I will tell later. Okay? It's little difficult. H. I. Right? Then L. T. Okay? U. Yes. So these are your homeworks. Okay? So all these things you have to try it and come. You have to practice this and come. Now when you are practicing, I'll tell you what you have to do. Now what problem people will do, what they will do. They will think, hey, I have understood everything. So they will start to write program, I'll tell you, I'll show it to you. Okay. They'll start to write program like this. They'll write, a int n equals to 5. They'll write, a for loop, int I equals 0, I is less than and I plus plus. They'll write for j equals 0, j less than and j plus plus. After writing that, they'll directly write, condition. They'll start writing condition, and if their condition is true, else they'll tell space. Yes, this is the normal thing which most of them will write. What I'm telling you is, don't write in that manner. You have to do unit testing and you have to go, which means small by small code you have to test it. You have to get the output, then you have to change the condition. What I'm telling is, imagine I want to draw the letter, I want to draw the letter that is C. I want to draw the letter C. If you have to draw the letter C or anything, first you have to clear your screen, right? You should not have anything. Okay, if you want a star pattern, as I've told you, if you want a star pattern, first you have to tell like this, right? Int n equals to 5. Okay, int n equals to 5. So if you want to draw star pattern, the basic program you have to write for the star pattern. For loop where int I should start from 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. Okay, inside this I loop there is a j loop. For int j should be 0. Okay, j is less than n, j plus plus. Okay, yes. Now outside this j loop there is a print ln. Yes, that you have to write first. System dot out dot print ln. Okay, write it. Inside the j loop, what is that? Yes, I know. You also know. We have to write if condition. But I am telling you, don't write if condition. First you check whether you are getting 5 cross 5 star or not. Okay. So system dot out dot print ln. Okay. Print you have to tell not print ln, because inside the j loop it is always print. So you print star here like this. After printing star, okay, you get the output. Once you know, okay, till now everything is proper, because see, when you go wrong you'll get more confused. Hey, where is this, where am I going wrong? To prevent that, first you do small code. So what you are getting now, you are getting 5 cross 5 star, which means till now whatever I did, it is correct. Now you have to think, hey, I want to draw the letter, maybe I want to draw the letter C, right? If I want to draw the letter C, I want stars only in some area. Means, do I want stars everywhere? No, I don't want stars everywhere. Okay, I don't want stars everywhere. That is why I'll cut this. I'll tell, if some condition is true, then only print that star. For this, if immediately I will write else, before writing the condition, as soon as I write if, immediately you have to write else here. Else, print what? Print space, I will tell. Now if you notice, print star and print space, both of them are not print ln, it is only print. Okay. Print space. Now you write the condition. That is what you have to do. At the last you have to write the condition. So you have to go and you have to see what's the condition for C. Okay. If you have to print C, you already know. You want the first row. So I is equal to 0. Okay. Then C means there is a last row also. Then I equal to n minus 1. N minus 1. Or then C means there is a first column. So J is equal to 0. J is equal to 0. See, these three things I have to tell, so I'll be getting the C. So I hope you have understood in what way you have to go. Okay, in this way if you solve, well, I'm talking for beginners. Okay, if you're a pro, then you can do however you want. Beginners should practice like this. So compile and execute, I got C. Okay, so I hope you have understood the basics of star patterns. Tomorrow we'll be solving more complicated star patterns. Tomorrow I'll be telling you some tricks which are applied for number patterns also. So I thank you, for attending this session, and I request all of you guys, if you're watching this video, if you think this is great, then YouTube people, they have made one beautiful button. If you like the video, there is a button called as like. Please like the button. Okay, and if you subscribe, I'll be getting the subscribe count, that count will increase, and if there is 1,000 or more subscribers, I can do live classes, so it will benefit me also and you also. So it's better that you subscribe and like. Okay, so yes, thank you, have a great day.